Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of the Grandstand here on the High Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm as always your host, the High Patriots. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about how food riots are most likely going to be created here come November, thanks to the Democrats shutting down the government for the past 26-ish days, give or take. So, of course, we're trying to blame on Republicans, but they're the damn liars at that point, because the Democrat Party that is not doing a little thing called, I think it's either conjure or culture, I forget what the actual terminology is, but basically it takes 60 votes in the U.S. Senate to pass anything with a filibuster-proof majority is what it is. And you have, I think it was 2 Democrats, an independent, and then I think there was like 2 seats that flipped Republican or something at some point. So they have like 55 seats right now is what it is that are on board in the U.S. Senate to do this stuff. There's 5 Democrats basically in the cave right now that aren't caving. And you had, it was House Whip Catherine, I forget her last name was offhand, but I think she's from Washington State, if I was not mistaken, or it could be Oregon or something maybe. But she's basically like the second highest Democrat right now in the minority in the U.S. House right now. And she went on to, I think it was either NBC or maybe CNBC or something the other day, and straight up admitted that this whole thing is for leverage by the Democrat Party. It's to basically make the American people hurt, which that alone should be seeing her arrested, and a bunch of the Democrat Party at this point arrested for high treason against the American people, against Trump, etc. It should be seeing them kicked out of office for multiple other misdemeanors, felonies too, for that matter. Deprivation of Chicago law is another one. Insider trading is another one. Just like a bunch of other stuff for that matter that they've done that's criminal stuff. Actually, I would say, truthfully, there's another one thing we're not really talking much about. Would it be a misuse of position for personal gain is a big one, because they're attempting to personally gain from this. And what are they gaining from this? They would be gaining. So basically, for those who don't know why the government shut down like 3.5 weeks ago, here's a little deal. During Biden's administration, Democrats created something called a continuing resolution. That's what was being passed recently. It's the same exact stuff from Biden's administration. It's been passed for like 3 to 4 years now is what it is. And this is basically what the Democrats created back in like 2021, 2022, something like that's what it was. So it's been passed like at least 3 to 4 times now is what it is. And that's what Republicans were allowing them to get passed, basically. But what Democrats wanted to do was they wanted to put all these little wish list items in there too, where it was illegals getting free health care, because that's their voter base now is what it is. You would have a bunch of EV crap for electric vehicles. You'd have a bunch of DEI garbage. That's nothing but wasteful spending at this point, honestly, is what it really is. And so instead of them allowing that to happen, Republicans are like, no, fuck that. We're going to continue to pass this resolution that we've been passing for years now. No add-ins, no nothing like that. We're just passing a clean resolution is what it is. And that's what they should have passed already is what it is. But the Democrats know if they actually passed that, they would not be having any kind of ability to do a bunch of shady criminal shit, basically. And this is what bothers me about Trump right now, because him being a 90s Democrat, you know, and it's ironic that I'm now wearing the new hat that I got, which is the elephant hat here. Because the thing is, like, I wouldn't even really call Trump a rhino at this point. He's literally just a 90s Democrat that's now in control of the Republican Party / MAGA Party is what it is. And when you look at what the MAGA Party has become in the past 6, 7, 8 years now is what it is, it's basically what Ross Perot created back in the 90s as the Reform Party. And so you basically have this like reformer party that is in power right now that are really just like Democrat light is what it is from the 90s. And you have Trump getting certain things done, but then he's doing other stupid stuff like, you know, the $40 billion to Argentina and stuff like that's what it is. And so what you end up having then is you have these Democrats, and of course now they got the mainstream media being like, oh my God, Trump's tearing down the East Wing to make the ballroom and stuff like that. Yet meanwhile, these motherfuckers are literally holding a gun to the American people's head, being like, no, give us what we want or we're going to pull the trigger, basically. And that's why, you know, I titled this the way I titled it, where Democrats are creating literal food riots, are most likely going to come as what it is now, come November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, whatever it's going to be here now. because as of the last like 48 hours or so, you've had the official government website for the federal government basically admit there's going to be no EBT benefits being distributed come November 1st. And you already have a bunch of these, black welfare queens out there who are either saying they're going to mass rob the place, whether it be a Walmart or whatever the case be here, or something else for that matter. And so now what you end up having is you've had Walmart come out with like certain responses and certain stores and stuff like that. I don't know if it's across the board yet or not, but I've seen different ones in different stores here being like, we're not opening our doors November 1st. Like, everybody's got to order stuff online and we'll come, deliver it out to your car for you is what it is then. So, or you're going to get delivered to your door at the house or whatever then. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I mean, it would be one option to do, honestly, at this point, because it'd be a way to stop that stuff. But I know the one thing I've heard here in the last 12 hours or so was it was several black females saying, oh, come November 3rd at, I think it was 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., they were going to go into Walmart and basically fill up a cartload of shit in an hour and then just do a mass run on the doors is what it is then. And it's like, claiming, oh, you can't catch us all. It's like, you fucking retards realize they have cameras at these places, right? Like, they're going to catch you on camera walking in, they're going to catch you on camera running out, and they're going to use facial recognition technology, which, by the way, doesn't matter if you wear a mask or not, because they can look under that shit, dude. And they're going to find you, and they're going to charge you with grand theft, or felony larceny, or something else for that matter that's going to be a felony in the state that you live in, that you reside in, and now your dumbass is going to be sitting in prison for pretty much the rest of the year is what it'll be, and mostly into 2026, when you actually are charged by a DA with the criminal charges there, and you're going to be sitting in jail for a couple of years. That's what it's going to be. And now you're going to have a felony record because you're a fucking retard. And by the way, as far as I'm aware, convicted felons cannot actually receive government benefits ever again. So, good luck trying to get anything after that, dipshits. Whether it be Section 8 housing, whether it be SNAP benefits, WIC benefits, anything like that. So, yeah, like, don't be dumb, basically, is what it is, dude. Nothing else, take the advice of people right now. Go to a food bank. I would say, honestly, if you're that hard up right now is what it is, you should already be going to food banks anyway. Like, they exist out there. Go to a food bank. These people will help you. Get a cartload of stuff from them if you can. Get some food there. Learn how to cook, period. Go here to YouTube. There's like a million fucking videos where people will teach you how to cook various meals, dude. Follow the recipe of the video, people. Learn how to make a meal. Learn how to feed your kids. Don't expect the government to keep giving you handouts every time in your fucking life. Get a job. That's a big one. Like, you have the time right now. Go get a job. You can have enough stored up in a couple weeks, man, to actually have enough money to go buy those groceries for Thanksgiving dinner for your kids. Like, you don't got to go steal. You don't got to go prostitute yourself, which is what some of these chicks are saying now. And I'm just like I was talking to my sister about that even earlier tonight is what it was. And I was like, yeah, I was watching this video the other day. This girl who's probably like somewhere between like 19 and 24, so give or take, was talking about how, oh, they're going to cut off my food stamp card. Now they're trying to make us sell our pussies or whatever. And I'm just like, what? And it's like, how does that equate to that, dude? It doesn't make any sense at all. Like, it literally makes zero logical sense. Like, how your mind goes from, oh, I have no welfare, to prostitution. Like, it really just shows what a moronic idiot you are at this point, honestly. So, which, I've said it before, I'll say it again, dude, there's a lot of these fucking welfare queen pieces of shit that should have been cut off decades ago, honestly. Because the problem now, compared to 2013, when you had the glitch under Obama that shut off all the food stamp cards for like a week or two is what it was. With that one, you basically had the parents of a lot of these morons. And now these kids that were like 10, 12, 13 years old, maybe at most, are now like, 22, 24, 25, whatever it is now, and have their own kids now is what it is, 12 years later. So it's this more entitled, more retarded generation that has come up in the past decade or so. And now we're in a situation where we're going to deal with this stupid fucking fallout crap is what it is. And I don't know about the rest of you guys, dude, but like, I'm just fucking sick and tired of it, you know? Like, legitimately, the fucking that was behind me here is what it is through the shared wall. The past week, literally, this dude's taking me from fatigue to exhaustion. So, I don't know if you heard it when I started tonight's stream. What happened right before it, though, but he was banging on his door outside because he has some chick over there right now, and she apparently had locked him out or something, or he locked himself out, one of the two, I'm not sure. Because when I was talking to the Ken guy that lives opposite him there the other day, he basically told me that this moron locks himself out all the time, and now he's crawling in through the fucking window on the side of the damn unit, which I'm pretty sure he did here too, and I think that's why the screen was off of mine that one time I moved in, was because this retard didn't realize which apartment was which and broke into this one before I started living here, and was basically passing on the floor in the bedroom there or something. So I'm also hearing noise outside right now, so it sounds like. So anyway, but yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen come November 1st, dude, or November 3rd, or whatever it's gonna be. But I don't think it's gonna be a good thing at all for this country. And I think we're definitely gonna see, like, I'm basically preparing for food riots at this point. I was able to get a bunch of stuff the other day, and thankfully a lot of it's shelf stable. And my plan right now is basically, if I can gather some money together in the next few days and get it right out before the 1st, I may go just fill up with some other stuff or whatever the case be, and just do a bunch of shelf-stable pantry stuff. It's going to be like months-long shit or whatever. And just have like some extra prep food basically for November is what it'll be. And if nothing else, I can just put in like a tote or something maybe. And go from there basically. But yeah, it's like, I really hope we don't have riots. I think honestly though, given how cold it's getting here in Ohio now, from these random freeze warnings that we got going on right now, because right now the climate is 39 outside, but there's also a freeze warning in place right now that as of midnight, which is about 17 minutes from now, that is going to be down to potentially 22 degrees in my area tonight. So I'm kind of hoping that it kind of stays like that a little bit. And I kind of hope if it does stay like that, it'll be a situation where it'll be too cold for these morons to go out there and do anything stupid, really. But yeah, like right here, we got 6 hours ago, BBC put out an article that says U.S. government says it will stop paying for food aid next week. Which, the problem I have with that, though, is it's not even the government itself. It's that, like, when you have no financial surplus, rainy day fund, whatever you call it at that point, to like tap into for these kind of situations. But then, like I said, like, you know, and this is the problem, like, it would be hard for the government to be like, okay, like you, meaning myself, who is a permanently disabled person or whatever the case be, like, oh yeah, you deserve, you know, your benefits just still remain intact or whatever the case be there. But it's like, how would they determine that unless they would do like state level stuff? Which this is why I kind of, if something does happen here in Ohio where it runs out, I kind of blame Mike DeWine specifically, because we have a rainy day fund in place right now here in the state of Ohio. It has not been tapped into, and I want to say it's almost 20 years now. It has at least $1 to $2 billion sitting in it currently. And if nothing else, like, just take a couple $100,000 out of it, bro. Take a couple million out if you need to, you know? Like, take like 20 million bucks out of it, something else. And, you know, just hand a couple $100 to a few, you know, a couple million people, basically, is what it is there. If nothing else, if it quells the food riots for a little bit, like, okay, cool. Like, it's a stopgap, but it's still, you know, will hold back the flood, basically, is what it is there for at least a little bit of time. But yeah, like, that's the biggest problem right now, I think, entirely. But then on the flip side of that, I think there is people out here already that have already made to being basically criminals and want to do criminal stuff from the state. And I would say the ones that are already on video saying that shit, go find these people and arrest them. Put them in the county jails, put them in the state prisons, etc. You know, charge them with various, you know, threats, etc. Whether it be threats to government officials, whether it be threats to the general public, whether it be terrorism, doesn't matter, honestly. Like, you can charge them multiple felonies at this point, honestly, on that route of things. But yeah, charge them accordingly. Take them to a D that's going to prosecute, obviously, or take them even to a state AG for that matter that's going to prosecute, and go from there. So, yeah, like it's just things could be done correctly to stop a lot of this stuff from popping off, but unfortunately, I think the problem is government is so fucking lazy across the board that the people that are in power right now that could stop this or want to do anything to stop it, because it doesn't really affect them. What it affects is the poorest of the poor among us right now, which includes myself, obviously. And the biggest issue with all this stuff is when you have these people who, they don't care, and they don't care to you, like, why should we care what happens to them, basically, is what it is. That's why I think, honestly, like, this is all by design, and it's all to basically spark, like, continued political violence is what it is there, which, would that be a precursor by Trump and company to try to do martial law, insurrection, whatever the case be you want to call it there, and ensure that we have, like, almost like a permanent lockdown situation or something like that? Like, do I believe that's an end game? Possibly. Like, it's possible. Anything's possible at this point, honestly, dude. My thing of it is, do I think that's really what's going on, or do I think it's more you have a bunch of criminal-ass Democrats knowingly fucking with the American people, and this is their deep state endgame, potentially? And I think that's a lot more likely scenario right now is what it is, because they know. I mean, we even know from, like, last August, last September, something like that. Or no, it would have been, I'm sorry, not last August, September. It would have been, like, 2024 time period there. So it would have been about a year and, like, 3 to 4 months ago, give or take. So about 16 months ago, more or less. Right before the election, there's what it was. And you have openly admitting that they would, they were on the, I believe it was, I forget if it was the House floor or the Senate floor at the time. I think it was the House floor. And it was some woman in the Democrat Party. I'm not sure who she was. Like, she was one of these randoms from, like, some random state, like Delaware or whatever the case be. And she was basically talking about, like, who was going to be in Trump's administration at that point, like, who he was going to pick for, AG and Secretary of State and, like, all these different, like, Health and Human Secretary, cabinet positions, stuff like that's what it is there. And then she was going over this list of Democrat people and being like, well, here in our shadow government, like, this is who's going to be this position. This is going to be this position. That was, like, Adam Schiff and a bunch of other people like that she was mentioning by name. And I'm like, okay, so when Trump got in on January 20th, 2025, why were every single one of these Democrats not immediately arrested out of office for high treason then, when they were openly admitting to creating a shadow government before he was even installed as president again under the rule of law? And yeah, it's, like, very bothersome on that one, because it really shows, like, the fuckery we see in this country now is what it is. So I don't know, maybe I'm just looking at things kind of a weird position, but, like, it just feels all fucked up, basically. So I got kind of a sore throat going too now from various things. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I think it was something maybe I ate earlier. It, like, scratched my throat real bad or something. But or it could just be the weather changing too, for that matter. But yeah, like, I definitely think we're in some bad situation right now is what it is. I think it's going to get worse and worse by the time things are all said and done. And my best advice right now to any of these governors that are in any of these states right now is, hey, if y'all have a rainy day fund, crack it open come November 1st is what it is, dude. Stop any potential food riots from coming. If you don't have a rainy day fund, stop funding illegals. Take back that money and use it to pay off EBT systems in your own states is what it is. Pay a SNAP system in your own state is what it is then. Take that money, use it as the net that needs to be done there. Because if that would be enough to stop people from rioting, you got to do something, dude. Or at least, if they're going to riot anyway, like, activate National Guard. have National Guard on standby, have applications ready for anybody that wants to join it, etc. Because I know Tactic Moffatop and then we're talking on his chat earlier about that. And he was mentioning about how, if worse comes to worse, people would actually join up and stuff like that. Especially if they're going to get, like, food or money, whatever the case be, to, like, arrest American citizens. I think it'd be a lot, unfortunately. And it is division. It's all divisionist stuff, dude. It's been the divide and conquer strategy that's worked for decades now is what it is, not centuries for the matter. And I think that's the entire point. It's the power players on both sides of the law at this point that are pitting the American people against each other is what it is right now, instead of us coming together as people, as we the people, and being like, no, all of you people are the problem here in, power. And we just remove them all at that point through various recalls and every other, legal channel we can. And then if there's still some left that can't be removed through legal channels, then that's when you go and start doing citizens arrest these people for various crimes of criminal. That's what it is then. So, or that enough in power that would be changed out then by getting the other ones out first. That the ones that would be left, it wouldn't matter what their votes are for or whatever, they would just be voted out is what it is anyway. And then that way you just arrest them as everyday citizens is what it would be then. Various times they go into wall in office is what it would be then. So yeah, like there's means to go about things that have to be, actual violence coming is what it is then. But I don't know, I think unfortunately there's a lot of ignorant, stupid people out there who are very low IQ. Whose mindset is basically, like jump to violence immediately, or it's emotion leads to violence, whatever the case be. And unfortunately, these people are the ones that have voting rights, but Democrats in the power then. And so in some aspects, yes, they are to blame, especially people that are early voting right now for that retard Mamdani in New York City. Because you are actively voting in a guy who is a known communist, who lied on immigration forms, who is also basically self-admitted Islamic terrorist at this point. And you're voting in the worst potential person ever in that situation. And then, of course, you got that piece of shit Andrew Cuomo who's trying to run for governor, too, at that point. Or not governor, he's trying to run for mayor of New York, what it is there at that point. And it's like this guy was an even worse governor back in 2020. He literally mass murdered, he mass genocided at least a couple million New York citizens at that point through random hospital stuff and through literally COVID death shots is what it is. And the fact this dude is still walking free and not on trial for communities, everything wrong with this country right now. The same thing with Kathy Hochul, because she was not governor at the time, and now she's the sitting governor. Bitching about Trump cutting off food stamps and stuff like that, even though he's not the one doing it. It's the Democrat Party doing it by not reopening the government. So this bill will be fun, everything else will be fun for that matter too. And so what you end up seeing now, you just see these damn Democrat liars that should have already been arrested for high treason and crimes against humanity is what it is there, that are actively in power to spew this fucking nonsense and these laws and else like that is what it is. So yeah, it's just a bunch of shit all the way around is what it is. So I don't know what the change is going to be, or if there's going to be any change at all for that matter, but I'm optimistic. I'm also old enough at this point at 40 years old to realize, like, hey, things are not getting better, they're just getting worse. And now is the time to maybe, have their shit on standby is what it is. Maybe, start carrying that long gun in a vehicle or something kind of situation. So, or maybe just have it out and ready if something does go down, because you never know what's going to happen then. And I'm not to the point right now. I may start doing that honestly pretty soon. But I don't know. It's hard to say. But yeah, the entire point of the matter is, though, it's like, at some point, like, something's got to break. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be a lot of our system is going to be breaking down is what it is. So I hate to see the future. I've had a few, the last month or so, I've had a few precognitive dreams, though, come true. At the time, I didn't realize were precog dreams. until about a day after the fact. But there's about 3 or 4 of them that have come to fruition in about the past 30 days or so, give or take. So if that rings true, and there's a dream I had here not long ago that like was basically a nightmare, and it was a very creepy nightmare. If that does come to fruition, like, it's not going to be good, and that definitely would have to do with writing and stuff like that at that point. So yeah, needless to say, I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm not trying to fear anybody, fear monger, anything like that. I'm just trying to be realistic about what I believe is going to happen pretty soon in this country. And I think we are being put in a design. There has been a design crafted by people in power currently, Democrat, Republican, otherwise, doesn't matter, honestly, that are openly trying to pit us against each other. And if that means that they're trying to create food riots, that's what that means. If it means they're trying to create water wars, that's what it potentially can mean as well. And I think it's time for people to grow the fuck up. Literally pick yourself by your bootstraps at that point and realize, like, hey, you don't trust the government. Like, this is exactly what no one's trust the government, dude. Like, you shouldn't trust that you're going to have, your magic little fucking money card reloaded every month for your asses. You should be thinking ahead on that one and have a stocked pantry that could get you by for at least a few months anyway, if not a year for that matter even. You should always be buying ahead. You should always be, budgeting. And that's really the problem with a lot of people is they don't have the mindset, they don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the intelligence level to think like that. They're low IQ dipshits, so that is in many cases. And they've never actually been taught what a budget even is for that matter. And that's the problem. And that breaks down to not only the parenting aspect of things in this country, it also breaks down to the school systems of this country and public education in general. Because whatever happened to courses that could teach like basic life skills, budgeting, making a budget, balancing a checkbook, changing a tire, making a basic, like we used to have these things back in the day, but they just did away with them eventually over time. I mean, hell, we used to have wood shop and auto shop and all these different, public and all these different public schools, and now they took those away decades ago. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's purposely dumbing everybody is. It's exactly what them did a while back now, where they are like, oh, you want to be illiterate? That's cool. You don't have to be illiterate. You can be illiterate and be graduating now. And so, yeah, see, now you can basically not know how to read or write, and they will still graduate you from schools in that state right now, is what it is in high school. It's fucking insane. And you wonder why they're doing it, and you start looking at who's in power there, and Democrats, dude. It's the Democrat Party making willful, ignorant people, making literally generations of useful idiots is what it is that we're doing now. And it's sad. It's sad. It's pathetic. And what's really sad is how we as the American people have allowed this shit to continue on decade after decade and not anything to change it, Like, there should have been mandatory term limits on every member of Congress and U.S. Senate for decades now. And the fact there's not is what's the biggest slap in the face of all right now is what it is, dude, because when you can have a president change potentially every 4 to 8 years, and yet for 40-something years now, you've had the same fucking ass clown from some seat here in Ohio or some seat in California or some seat in Nevada, whatever it is, doesn't matter, honestly. That's a big issue nowadays, what it is. And I mention that specifically because right now, Marcy Kaptur, who is she's one of the oldest Democrats actually in office currently here across the board, but she's also I believe she's the longest Democrat continuously serving in Congress from the state of Ohio right now. And this woman has been in power in Congress longer than I've been alive, dude. She's been there like 42 years right now or something. Or maybe 43 years now, I think about it. But yeah, she's been in there like 2 to 3 years longer than I've been alive at this point, honestly, dude. And she is up for re-election come 2026. One of our current state reps, Josh Williams, who is a good dude, he has been pretty big. I don't know if I call him like a champion of Second Amendment, but he's definitely done stuff that's, helped the Second Amendment in the state become, better, is what it is. And he's also, as far as I'm aware, very pro-life over there. So he's running against her in the general election. And hopefully you can flip that seat to res what it is come 2026 midterms. But the problem right now I'm seeing currently, and I think this is why Democrats did it the way they did it right now with the shutdown, is because they are basically putting us in a position now where they're trying to affect the midterm elections is what it is, dude. Because the longer this thing, the longer this shutdown, the more so-called leverage that they have to then be like, oh, well, look why we should be voted back in because it was the Republican Party that never passed any of this stuff or whatever the case, even though they had control of everything. And this is exactly why people just need to be given high treason arrests and put in prison the rest of their lives minimum at this point, honestly, dude. I'm not going to go into further detail on that because technically the penalty for high treason is the death penalty. But yeah, lifetime imprisonment for a lot of people, given their advanced age anyway, in their 60s, 70s, 80s, etc. there, they would just die in prison anyway in the next 5 to 10 years, dude. So it's like, let them suffer in jail. Let them suffer behind bars is what it is then. So, but that's the problem right now is that Trump is not doing his job as president to ensure this is happening because he could have literally had the DOJ arrest at least like, I would say 150 plus members of the Democrat Party right now for high treason at a federal level. And I think the problem with him is being a nice Democrat himself, it's optics bullshit for him is what it is, dude. It's like, no, dude, fuck the optics. Make the arrest happen. Do your fucking job as president. Ensure that this country is safe and secure again from these goddamn terrorists. And we move the fuck on. If nothing else, you get rid of 150 plus seats across the board is what it is then. And you change the fucking thing for the whole, the culture thing from 60 votes to 55 or something. That's what it is then. So, anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the night. It's now after midnight, so I don't want to be awake too much longer. I know that this jackass is watching TV or something over here, so I was going to try to sleep in the chair again tonight, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I think what I'll do is I'll probably try to go to bed in my bed and hopefully my back doesn't get all fucked up again. Maybe I'll just throw on some earplugs or something like that, and hopefully they'll drown out the going on. So, but anyway, hopefully if I stop talking or whatever pretty soon, like they'll just stop talking to you as well as what it is over there with whoever. But I don't know, man. It's all is what it is. It's sad when you got to have one person basically fuck with your life is what it is there. So, but hopefully I can get something else pretty soon and nothing else. Find a better place to live here in the next few months is what it'll be then, and then go live there is what it'll be then. Come the new year and never deal with this fucking clown again is what it is then. Or depending on when his lease runs out, then if it's the January or February or whatever next year, maybe the landlord just tell him to fuck off and not rip it, then is what it is. So if that's the case, then I'd probably stay for a few more months then because it wouldn't be an issue then if it was somebody else living there then. So, but yeah, with him living here, it's just, it's like if the guy wants to be up all night doing whatever, dude, like he can do that shit in like another unit way down the line. There's what it is. Since there's like, I think like 8 or 9 different housing units on this property for apartment buildings. So, and you can go live in one of those other people that are loud and obnoxious all night. So, but anyway, because the other 2 guys are cool. That guy over there is cool, and the guy that lives straight across from him is cool. But, or I guess technically it would be would be there, and then there'd be the one next to that one. But what I mean is, this dude back here, he was straight across from that guy. It's just that jackass back here is the problem. Knows what it is. So, anyway, but yeah, it is what it is, and that's pretty much all I gotta say about that one. So, I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay vigilant. Always know your routes. Always know what to do, and always have a backup plan. Basically, is what it is, because you never know what's going to happen, dude. And like I said, my advice to people out there on the internet: don't be admitting to your fucking crimes, you morons. Don't commit crime. Is what it is. Like, you have time still. Go get a job. Make a paycheck. Use that paycheck to buy food for your kids. Or if worse comes to worse and you physically can't work, like, seriously, get somebody to take you to a food bank and go get food from that food bank and have some food in your pantry. Or better yet, create a budget and budget ahead and have a couple extra cans of stuff sitting back in a pantry. So if worse comes to worse, you can still have some stuff on hand. You know, there's a reason why I buy a little bit more, is what it is, every so often now. Even though I can't really afford it, I'm still trying to budget enough to where I can get, an extra can or two of stuff here and there, is what it is. That I know isn't going to expire immediately. I'll be good for another 6 months to a year. And so then I can eat that eventually over time if I need to. So, but yeah, it's just a fucking ridiculous, is what it is, dude. And I'm just so sick and tired of people, is what it is, honestly. Like, I think a lot of us are just in exhaustion mode at this point, honestly. And I don't know. Maybe the only thing I can think is like the government's trying to create like a purge situation or something like that. Like, that would actually make sense, logically speaking, right now, especially given, with Trump meeting with Bill Gates and stuff like that not long ago. So we all know that Bill Gates is all about depopulation and stuff like that. What it is. So who knows? Who knows? Do I really think it's Trump? I definitely think the Democrat Party is definitely behind some shit. That's what it is. And, when they're admitting the quiet part out loud because they can't not help doing that stuff, obviously, as well. And I think some cases it kind of goes back to like witchcraft, if I'm not mistaken, because it's kind of like spell casting or whatever. And it's also goes back to like demonic stuff too, if I'm not mistaken, where it's like when it comes to like demonism and everything like that. And when you realize a lot of people are demonically possessed, what it is there, you realize that when it comes to like the demonology and things like that, that they have to tell you their plan because they can't lie to you, is what it is. And so it's basically them admitting their plan up front, but they do it on the low and like the sly and stuff like that's what it is. And so that way it comes to fruition and stuff like that, they can be like, well, we told you about this a while back now or whatever. And you're like, no, you didn't. And they're like, oh yeah, it's right here. So, who knows if that's the case or not. But like I said, it's a bunch of shit, honestly. And I'm just so sick and tired of all of it right now, is what it is. And like, I'm just done with all of it, dude, is what it is, really. Like, I'm just done with these people in general. And I'm just ready for something to happen, is what it is already. And be done with it. So, but yeah, hopefully whatever happens is not like, doesn't end a bunch of bloodshed, basically, but who knows if it does or not. And I think, unfortunately, with the way things are going, that's probably what's going to happen, honestly, unfortunately. So, to me, it's basically pray for the best, prepare for the worst. And, if nothing else, maybe God will intervene somehow, is what it is. Because the thing I've noticed specifically with a lot of things is, like, most people that are rioters are fair weather rioters. They're not going to go out there when it's all super cold or super rainy or super snowy or whatever the case be. Or, even ridiculously hot for that matter. They're going to go out there when it's like, a nice 70 degrees and breezy or whatever the case be in the middle of the spring or summer. And, riot and loot, etc. There's what it is. So, will this be delayed potentially until next spring or summer? Potentially, maybe. It all depends. But that could actually make it worse, though, because it could be right around midterms, and that's what it is. So, I don't know, man. like I said, I'm kind of like this basically any given day, where it's like, it's kind of whatever happens now just happens what it is. I'll be ready as much as I can be, and if somebody tries to come fuck with me or a bunch of people try to come fuck with me, like, good luck is what it is on that one. Because it'll be a stack outside the doors what it is there. So, but anyway, and you guys know me when I say that, by the way. But anywho, yeah, don't fuck with people who are big firearms people and know how to shoot a gun is what it is. So, because they're the ones that are probably going to be the ones that end up on the right side of living on that one, where you'll be on the wrong side of living people. So, anyway, but yeah, like I said, my best advice to any of these leftist types out there, or any of these welfare queens out there, just go get a fucking job. Just go back to your 18 fucking baby daddies and get the child support from them that they owe you, and get some money there to go feed your fucking kids. Or better yet, you know what? Stop getting your fucking hair done, stop getting your fucking nails did, and go spend that damn money on your fucking kids, you fucking retards. Get your goddamn financial priorities correct, and stop being an illiterate motherfucker when it comes to being financially illiterate. So, anyway. But yeah, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm prepared for anything at this point, honestly. And unfortunately, I think a lot of stupid people that are in power currently are going to cost a lot of other people potentially that could be in power in the future from gaining that access to that power because of their own stupid actions, what it is. So who knows what's going to happen, but whatever happens, happens, like I said. And if it means, a bunch of bad things go down, that's what it is. Hopefully, a lot of people will finally wake up and realize that, yeah, they are the fucking problem, and here's a solution. And it's them, doing actual work for once in their lives. So, anyway. But, yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Then I might do another Grandstand or something tomorrow. I'm not sure. Just all depends on what I got going on, and if I end up, depending on when I wake up, and if I can get some decent sleep tonight or not, then. So, because it's definitely going to be a whole situation. There is what it'll be if I'm just exhausted tomorrow or not, then is what it is. So, but anyway, and hopefully on Tuesday we'll have a good chat with Honda and everybody. I know he did a solo chat tonight because apparently he's having issues now, or the plan he had initially, I think it was his moving plan to Michigan, kind of fell through or something like that. I think is what the way he was talking about it there. So anyway, that sucks for him, obviously, and maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe now he'll actually take my advice and maybe run for office if that'd be the case in Colorado there. Farm out, run as a Democrat, farm out some shitty Democrat, and then switch to Republican Party immediately, or hell, even just run as a Republican in that district, and hopefully the people in the district would be so pissed at this point they just vote you in, is what it is then. So, but yeah, I could definitely see if we make it to midterms next year that this whole thing basically doing like some kind of a wave of some kind. I'm not sure exactly what it'll be. If it'll be like a red wave, it'll be a blue wave, it'll be a tsunami, either way around, or if it'll just be kind of like a little like situation like that, basically, where nothing really changes. So, but like I said, at some point, somebody's got to grow a fucking pair of nuts, honestly, and do what needs to be done, dude. And at this point, it really is arrest the Democrat Party out of office right now for the crimes that were committed against you and everybody else for that matter. And, have a actual competent AG that's not Pam Bondi prosecute these motherfuckers what it is then. So, anyways. But yeah, till later. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Always carry extra stuff just because of everything going on right now. Like I said, I've now upped my game to where we are now carrying the pain pen with us whenever we go out because, if people want to feel a little froggy, they're about to get a little jolt of this then. So, and I'm also thinking about now upping my pepper spray / OC spray carry from 1 thing to 2 things now. So, just because I don't know if I'll have enough for it not to run out, so I might just carry a second one in another pocket or something if that be the case then when I go out now in the future. So, anyway. And of course, I got all my backup stuff in my bag when I'm out and about. So, but yeah, other than that, though, like I said, that's where I'm at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. And have a good November. And hopefully you will be able to have a good November without it becoming a riot season. So, and to all the would-be rioters, thieves, etc. out there, go fuck off, dude. Just leave the country, honestly, seriously. We're better off without you as a nation. We don't want you here. We don't need you here. You're just a bunch of goddamn freeloaders anyway. Just go someplace else. And leave America. And leave your citizenship at the door when you do. Later, y'all. See ya.